been lit, boy. Everything goes.
We now return you to regular programming.
Oh, welcome back, guys, where we are currently discussing who could possibly be Coach of the Year, and it started to get very hot.
First of all, big shout out to our person that's been on our podcast, Casey Dykes, who is now officially a coach on the New York Yankees MLB roster.
I did shoot him a text saying, so congratulations from the Everything Goes podcast. Maybe we will see him after the holidays. We'll have to run it by his new team because, you know, he's in the Yankees now, so that's a big thing. But
that's a big deal, too, to be called up. Congrats to him.
That is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is. I'd be nervous. I mean, you go from doing – I think what's cool is you go from AAA where you have guys that obviously can go up to the pros, but now you go to the pros and you're dealing with guys like Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Luke Voigt, you know, big boys.
Yeah. But it's awesome for him. I'm so proud of him. I mean, it's awesome that we actually had someone on that is going big time, following his dreams, making changes for the Yankees now. So if the Yankees don't do what we think they're going to do, we can always hit them up and say, yo, want to come on and talk about this?
Yep. So
Please.
As we get into this, I guess the great definition in my eyes of Coach of the Year.
Here we go.
Coach of the Year,
Yes.
in my eyes, would be a coach that has taken his team to the elite level to get to the playoffs, to get to a run of the Super Bowl. Maybe a coach that his team wasn't that great last year. I threw out the name Cliff Kingsbury. Obviously, they missed the playoffs last year. He turns it around. Kyler Murray's playing well. They're 10-4.
Lost 2 in a row. They're probably going to lose the West lead.
That's the Coach of the Year to me. You know, when you throw names out there like Dan Campbell, who has 3 wins of the year.
But see, you won't understand this because you're not a coach.
There we go.
See, as a coach, you look at the whole thing. You look at the whole spectrum. I mean, you have a coach that had a team that didn't have a win halfway through the season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that team never quit. That chemistry, that locker room, that to me, that is a good sign of a good coach. A team that is struggling to produce wins, but they still stick together and they work hard and work their asses off for the coach. To me, that's Coach of the Year. I mean, who who can you give it to? McCarthy, big deal. You have a loaded team.
Mike McCarthy. Okay,
You know,
yeah, but
I laughed initially at that. Maybe LaFleur, especially if like the Packers went out.
Definitely, definitely.
But to me, someone like the coach of the Bengals, the coach of the Eagles, these are. I mean, even Frank Wright, the coach of the Colts, start out 0-3. Look what the production is now.
Colts, I would consider, but when you have teams like the Eagles, they're 7-7. I mean, now you said Mike McCarthy.
The Lions roster.
Go ahead.
By the way, the Lions roster is trash.
Absolutely.
And so what Campbell is doing is impressive. I think they can beat. They play the Falcons this weekend. I think they can beat them on the road.
In 15 weeks into the season, you still see these guys flying around the field trying to get a win for their coach. And look how excited they were when they won and they beat Arizona.
Don't get me wrong. I think Dan Campbell is an amazing coach. I think he will be an amazing coach. I love the way that he constantly puts into his team that we will never stop fighting. But I think when you have a coach that has 3 wins on the year,
doesn't matter to me.
You do not give him that award.
It doesn't matter to me.
You do not give him that award.
Just like an MVP. I don't think an MVP goes to a team that's going to the playoffs. I think you have to take every stat possible and stop favoring teams that are going to the playoffs. I personally think Dan Campbell's a great coach. Not lose that team.
I'm not saying this. I tell a lot of people I think Dan Campbell's the right coach for the Lions. Like Mike McCarthy, the Dallas, through the injuries, they had a terrible record last year. For him to bounce it back and be where they're at now, obviously Dallas doesn't look like Dallas lately, but that's another coach you could throw in there. Mike McCarthy, the coach of Green Bay, like Aaron said.
But see, I disagree with you with Mike McCarthy. I'd give it to the assistant coaches. I mean, Quinn is amazing. I mean, he's turned that defense around. I mean, I have stats right here. 13 freaking teams have brand new defensive coordinators. Dallas is the number 1 right now as far as them. Last year, scoring drives alone, teams scored 43% of the time on Dallas in 2020. This year, it's only 31%. That's an 11% swing. That is higher than the next team, which is Tennessee, which is a 5% swing. Wow. Dallas's defense is amazing right now, flying around the ball. That has nothing to do with Mike McCarthy. That has to do with the coaches.
They should have multiple awards for coach. They should have defensive coach, offensive coach, and coach of the year, because that'd be very cool. Different coaches.
Especially with hirings.
I just think there's more to the award. I mean, I don't think you give it to it just because they're a playoff team. Who cares? I mean, I just think if you look at, Detroit has nothing to win, nothing to gain, all they're doing is hurting themselves by playing hard and winning. They're not the number 1 draft pick right now.
I think you still got to give it, at least in my opinion, I feel like it would go to a surprise team that made the playoffs.
Cincinnati.
Like if I thought of coach of the year or the Eagles, if they went out, what if Mike Zimmer gets his team, the Vikings, to win out?
No.
Is he coach of the year after they talked about firing him earlier?
No, because we expected Minnesota to be good.
Yeah,
You know, like
that's
the
fair. They have
Eagles,
a
the Eagles
talented-
are in a rebuild. I mean, I didn't expect the Eagles to win more than
a
4
lot,
games.
A lot of us, though, said the Eagles on paper looked good as far as the offensive weapons. They got all the draft picks they had with Devontae Smith, Rieger, Goddard.
Since week 9, the Eagles have the best offense in football as far as all the stats and matrix. They have the number 1 team and number 2 team. I mean, they're rushing for over 200 yards in like 4 or 5 consecutive games now.
Dang.
I mean,
oh, wow.
They're averaging over 29 points a game. I mean, other than last night, but I mean, they're still. This is a team that's rebuilding.
This isn't so. Kevin Stefanski won it last year for the Browns. John
That was
Harbaugh
a great
for the
one.
Ravens.
See, that's a great one because
Matt
you have
Nagy.
Matt Nagy
go
won it.
ahead.
When did he win that?
2018.
Okay.
Now he's gonna be
that's
fired.
That's different.
They went 11-5, I think.
The Browns
Yeah,
one
let
was
me-
that's a great one. That's a great example because you have an organization that goes from not winning to going almost to the playoffs that year and the playoffs the year after. That's a coach of the year.
Yeah, but you think
In
about
my
it.
book, I just
Detroit-
don't think like
Detroit-
a 7-17 that gets it. Like,
Detroit hasn't. I mean, Matt Stafford won more games in 1 season with the Rams than he did in 3 seasons with Detroit. I mean, you can't go off of that. I just go off of overall what he's doing, and I know I'm not right. I know it's never going to happen, but I just love a coach that is not going to give up. His team is fighting tooth and nail for him. I mean, they could very easily just say, "Screw it, let's tank."
And I'm not shooting you down. I agree with you. I think Campbell is a great coach. I think he motivates that team. You could see it in the players. They desire to win.
Yeah.
They have the heart to win.
I mean, just like the MVP, it's a bullshit award, and I apologize to the NFL, but it's a bullshit award. I mean, it's going to go to
a quarterback
It's going to go
award.
to a quarterback again.
Which is stupid because you have a guy like Jonathan Taylor who is getting more touches than I've ever seen for a running back. So most valuable player on a team, to me, that's Jonathan Taylor. I don't think the Colts win half those games without Jonathan Taylor.
It could be a
You know who
defensive
we're
player.
forgetting? We're forgetting a big name as coach of the year. I just thought about
Let's hear it.
Bill Belichick.
No.
I mean, that's true, too. Look at where they were
You
at
don't
last
think
year.
so?
That's a great example, too. That's actually
They
a
played-
very good pick. Look where they were
They
at
play
last
the
year.
Bills this weekend. Yeah.
Look where they were at last year. They were almost last in their division, and
But
now they're 9-5.
But last year they had the most players sit out last year because of COVID.
Hey.
They chose to sit out.
Coach of the year,
Oh,
turn
that's
that
a
team
good
around.
point.
Turn that team around, though. You know, you go from leaving Tom Brady. Tom Brady leaves. You get Mac Jones in. You know, you take a risk of letting Cam Newton go, right? You got Mac Jones comes in.
Carolina's
9-5.
going to let Cam Newton go too. I mean, Cam Newton's
No, but
done.
I'm just saying at the time it was a little bit of a shock.
That was no
when
risk either.
everyone was shocked when Cam Newton was cut by them.
I mean, I don't know.
By the Patriots?
Yeah.
I think if the Patriots cut somebody, look at Stephon Gilmore. What's he doing for the Panthers?
Nothing.
I don't know.
I would not.
I mean-
I think Cam still has something left, but I mean, didn't we just talk about Matt Rule? Speaking of like coach of the year, didn't we just talk about him last week getting fired?
Yeah.
So
I just look at it like this. You know, it's a team that, you know, I think it should be a team that you didn't expect to be there. Like, we never expected Cincinnati to be almost in first place in their division.
I mean, they've been fighting first place all year. I think they're in first place right now, actually.
But yeah, I think they're tied with Baltimore.
They are. They're 8-6. Baltimore's 8-6.
I mean, a team like that.
But Baltimore's
I mean,
1-3 in the division, and the Bengals are 3-1. So Bengals have the number 1 spot there.
I mean, Arizona is a good one. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I knew that everyone knew they were going to be good, but that's just a good division. I didn't think Seattle would be as bad as they are. I mean, when was the last time Russell Wilson threw a touchdown?
That's very true.
I mean, they're horrible, but you know, it's unfortunately
point.
it's gonna go to a big name coach. Really, it really is, and it's not right. I really don't think it's right.
Yeah. Well, we talked about Coach of the Year. We were
Yeah.
talking about the Lions game. I think the biggest surprise and upset of the week was the Lions beating the Cardinals 30-12. The Arizona Cardinals had a chance to clinch that day, but instead they lay a goose egg. Jared Goff shows the reasons why he should still be a starter in the NFL. Do you guys think I think Jared Goff still has 1 more year in that contract. Do you think that they should give Jared Goff another chance, like not focus on drafting a quarterback, not focus on going out and getting a quarterback, rather go get some defensive help and maybe some more offensive help? I mean, he put up 3 touchdowns, I think almost 300 passing yards. I have it written down somewhere, but
Look,
he played well.
He was drafted in the first round for a reason.
I think he was the first pick overall, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a bad quarterback.
He's not. And I said, you look at the Rams, right? He had so much talent around the Rams, obviously. It's like coming out of college when you have so much talent around you. You know, I don't think he's bad. He's not great.
He's gone to the playoffs. He's gone to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he's gone to a Super Bowl. It was the worst Super Bowl probably in history, but
I mean, I think you give him time. I mean, there's no big name receivers left in Detroit. They barely have a running game.
yeah.
I mean, they're all playing off of emotion right now. I mean, and they have a lot of money in the cap space. So I think you give him time, but I don't think you give him the big $40+ million a year.
No. You say go out there and prove it next year,
gosh,
and
no.
if you play well next year, you get us at least 5 or more so wins in this rebuilding franchise. You know, maybe we extend you and we bring you back.
Yeah, they just need players. Like, just keep drafting linemen.
Yep.
I don't know. They need playmakers too.
Yeah, that's it too. Because Swift hasn't been there most of the year. He's missed a lot of the year with injuries. But you look at a game like that, 30-12. You know, the Cardinals come in and they were 10-3. They had a chance to clinch, and the Lions, who had 2 wins at the time, 1 win, completely destroy them. And that to me is like, that's football right there, right? You could have the best record. That's why I love playoffs too. Like, you have so many teams that are 7-7 right now, right? And that's where I'm just like, I don't care what someone's record is when you get to the playoffs. It is any given Sunday that a team can beat somebody. And that's a perfect example of a team going, you know what? Oh, this is the Lions. This should be an easy win. You see that every year. They used to happen with the Saints every year. We always had that one terrible loss where you should just completely plow over a team, and then you throw up a goose egg.
I mean, you think about it. Who thought Jacksonville was going to beat Buffalo?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
This is probably the most competitive NFL season I've ever seen. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
true.
I think to this point, I think there's only 1, 2, 3.
I don't know how you can let yourself lose to them, though.
There's only 5 teams technically
it's
eliminated in week 15.
Yeah, they're saying.
Yeah, if you want to be taken seriously, though, like, I can't see that. Could you see the Cowboys losing to the? No, I don't even want to ask that. Losing to the Jaguars, the Jets, like the bottom feeders.
I mean, it could happen. It really can.
True.
I mean,
that's
any
fair.
given Sunday.
You look past teams. You know, coaches get complacent and say, "Hey, we're going to rest our stars today." It could easily happen. I mean, you could have the worst game of your life, and once you lose momentum's and it's a real big thing in sports. Yeah. It really is.
Let me ask you guys something.
I would get.
Go ahead, Ace. Go ahead.
Oh, Johnny would give me crap for saying that because that's like the most cliche thing I could have ever said.
But it's true. I mean, I've seen it firsthand. Yeah. Coaching, you see momentum.
Yep,
you get in people's heads, it can switch a light switch on and off in some teams in a blink of an eye.
Yep.
You like in baseball, we used to everyone knew we were going to steal bases like crazy, and they couldn't stop it. And they knew we were going to score runs by stealing bases. But
nice.
You easily can take people out of a game, and all it takes is one good hit. I mean, we've seen it in so many games now.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys something. A team like the Arizona Cardinals, your top receiver goes out for a couple of games, Hopkins. He's out for the rest of the season. Do you think the Cardinals are in trouble? They dropped, 2 in a row now? It's been?
Larry Fitz could be coming back.
No.
I mean, where's he been all year? He hasn't retired officially. You haven't seen anything where he said, I retired. He's been resting.
I mean, they have A.J. Green. He's having a great year. They have
A.J. Green has 718 receiving yards.
They have Christian Kirk, then they have the what's the tight end from the
Zach
Eagles?
Ertz.
Oh,
they have Ertz.
I think they need to run the ball more and just manage the clock. Take time of possession because their run defense I heard is like 30th or almost close to dead last.
You know,
I don't know about injuries, but
you know what's amazing? Every good team has had this, except for some reason Green Bay. You know, Kansas City, we thought they were dead.
Best team in the league right now.
Now they figured it out. Now we'll see this week what Kansas City is because now they've been freaking decimated by COVID again.
They're ranked number 1 in the power rankings right now.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Dallas. Dallas started out the season fast, and then we went that bad November. We went 2-5 or 2-3 or whatever the heck we went in November, and now we turned it back on again. We won three in a row on the road. We haven't been home since Thanksgiving. You look at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is having issues with injuries, and they're struggling. They just lost to the Saints.
Called it.
Arizona was flying high on a hog, man. They had everything wrapped up, basically the number 1 seed. They had a 2-game lead for the number 1 seed, and then look what they lost 2 in a row. Now look where they're at.
Yeah.
You know, they might lose the West. They might become a wild card team. That's crazy.
Murray is talented enough, I think, to get them wins just by scrambling around and making plays, similar to Lamar Jackson. Like that, by the way, Huntley for the Ravens, not to sidetrack a little, he's pretty talented too.
I think Huntley is making a very good case for himself that he can go be a number 1 QB somewhere. Looks identical to Lamar Jackson. Like when you're watching it, it looks like Lamar Jackson is on the field. I think we said that last week on the podcast too. He showed that he can hang with the best, played against a great Green Bay Packers team, almost won that game. Obviously, they could kick the field goal and win overtime, but...
And by the way, Ty did call it. This is for Ty.
Come to Tampa and shockingly shut out.
What do you mean you called that?
The defending Super Bowl champs.
He's
and
playing
Tom
music
Brady.
right now where you can hear the Saints
9-0.
announcers talking that the Saints win. Last week on the podcast, before we ended the podcast, I said Saints beat Bucs on that was my hot take. That was my upset of the week, and I had full confidence. That defense, baby. When you have a defense like that, I felt confident every time our defense was on the field.
They have Tom Brady's number. They really do.
They do.
You know, it's amazing. Tom Brady hasn't been shut out since 2006 or
2006. It was 2003. Then it was 2006.
Crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That was two of the top. That was two of the best defenses, and you saw it was 9-0. You know, Taysom Hill made some very, very flashy plays in the first half, but that defense shut him down. Our defense shut down Brady. It was a defensive game, and our defense played better.
I think Antonio Brown hurts them. Obviously, losing Godwin in that game. The Saints are talented defensively, but they did this against the Packers and they did this against the Bucs. That's a dangerous team.
Yeah, and we beat the Patriots. But the commentators all night too. I love what the commentators said. They said, you know, obviously, Mike Evans, Fournette, Godwin went out, but in the first half, even when all of them were in, we were still shutting them down. A team that has so many injuries to begin with on our side too. But hey, 7-7. You know, we could finish 10-7. We have 3, you know, decently easy games. The Jets are on a hot streak, so maybe we could beat them at home. But we need to win out if we make the playoffs because we need the Vikings to lose once. I need the Eagles to lose once. That's the only way we're getting in because the Vikings hold a tiebreaker over us. Eagles hold a tiebreaker over us. So I need you to lose, Aaron. Come on now. Come on.
I mean, you know who we play this weekend. The Vikings play the Rams this weekend, and I do not feel confident about that at all.
I do want to shout out to Cam Jordan, though, on the Saints, though. He got his 100th career sack, and I guess there's no better feeling than sacking the GOAT, you know, Tom Brady. I think he sacked him twice that game.
On the 100th? Oh,
yep, on the 100th.
That's
man.
memorabilia.
On the 100th.
Yo, you know, if you guys get that win, you know, the Packers play the Colts, who are hot right now. The Colts are tied in the NFL with 31 turnovers. They're tied with the Dallas Cowboys from defense for 31 turnovers. For most. So, you know, if they could shut down Green Bay, that would help the Cowboys for one. But, you know, that would be nice because if they could just step on that toe of Aaron Rodgers, you guys play Aaron Rodgers coming up a couple weeks down the road. If he could be out with Love in there, oh, my God, that turns everything upside down.
That
they
hurts
definitely have
Ty's chances, though.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah,
he ain't gonna. That toe will never die down. That's a talking point the rest of the season.
Yeah, I look at it like this: the way the Cowboys are sitting right now as the number 2 seed, we're either gonna get the Vikings, the Saints, or the Eagles. 3 good matchups.
It's nothing against Dallas, but right now I think Dallas is getting not necessarily cold, but not necessarily hot at the right time. I just don't think Dallas is as dominant as they were in the first half of the season. I think they're beatable. I'm not saying the Saints would beat Dallas. I think Dallas would beat the Saints, but...
And I totally disagree with you once again.
But what's going on with offense, though?
I think everyone goes through slumps. I mean, you look at it. You're playing teams a second time. You're not going to show your full hand the second time. No excuses. Everyone has injuries, but the Dallas Cowboys haven't had their full strength of an offensive line all season. We just got Connor Williams back because they benched him for how many weeks because he had a lot of holding penalties. They ran behind Connor Williams 7 times and averaged over 6 yards a carry. So Connor Williams is definitely not going anywhere again. We're getting Tyron Smith back, and not this week, probably next week against Arizona. So I think a lot of it has to do with Dak has been getting pressured. Dak has been getting hit. He's a little nervous. I think some of the play calling is on. I don't know if it's on Kellen Moore or if Dak's checking out of it, but when it's 3rd and 8 and you're throwing a 3-yard screen, I think that hurts you. Our defense is basically a top 5 defense right now. We're playing strong. So Dallas basically has won 3 games on the road. We had that slow stretch in November, but we won 3 games on the road. We're the best team as far as statistics go in the NFC. We're 8-1 against the conference. If we can tie Green Bay for the number 1 seed, we'll win the number 1 seed because of that. So I think Dallas is fine. I think just we got to get, the whole 40 burger going again. That's the thing that scares me. But we're still averaging over 25 points a game, which is still good. And, right now, I think we're averaging 4 turnovers a game the last 3 games. 4 games. Our defense has really stepped up. So if we can put the whole package together, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Cowboys fan, if we go back to the offense we had the first 7 games of the season with the defense we have now, I don't see anyone beating us. I really don't. And I'm not saying that just to blow smoke up everyone's butt. I really think the Dallas Cowboys would be the best team in the NFL.
Speaking of players or coaches of the year, I guess Micah Parsons changing. I don't think anyone expected how much he'd play on the line, but they're deep. They're so much deeper now that he's proven to be, doing what he's doing too.
And we're not even full strength yet. We're not even full strength yet.
Who else is missing?
We're missing Osa, who's coming back this week. We're
Who's
missing
Osa?
Osa is Zigadua, who plays the middle. We're missing Tristan Hill, who's coming back. We're playing great football. And now with Lawrence and Gregory back and Mika, we're getting so much pressure. Our pro football focus grades now for our linebackers and cornerbacks are going through the roof because now we're getting so much pressure up the middle. These quarterbacks don't have time to think. And that was our biggest problem. If you rewind all of our podcasts, I said our weakest spot is the middle. We're not getting pressure up the middle. We're not stopping the run. We're not getting pressure. Now we're getting that pressure. So we need it. This is the biggest time of the year. We need it. And our true test is coming up in 2 weeks against Kyler Murray. We'll see exactly where we are.
Yeah.
You play Washington, the Cardinals, and the end with the Eagles. I need you guys to beat the Eagles.
Yeah. And I think, and look, to be honest with you, if we have a chance for that number 1 seed going into that game against the Eagles, I guarantee you all of our starters are playing.
Yep.
Because we want that bye.
I think that's good at, again, going back to momentum and like just motivation and all that. I think momentum would play huge into, not resting starters down the stretch if you desire.
I have this stat, and this is amazing because you know what? The Cowboys' defense has been crap for freaking how many years? I have this stat that it actually blew my mind because where the heck is it? The Cowboys are the first team since 2007. The Chargers did it last to have a 10-sack player and a 10-interception player. It's only been done twice between this time and 2007. That's crazy. We've never had that.
Really?
We've never had a guy have that many sacks and that many interceptions on the same team.
Let me ask something. Do you think Diggs
Since 2000s.
Do you think Diggs' season is like that once in a lifetime season? Well, that will never happen again for him. Like, do you think some of those picks just happen to go his way? Like,
I think he has good hands.
I'm not taking anything away from Diggs here. I think Diggs is a great defense player. But you look at how many interceptions he has in the year, and that almost looks like that's one of those seasons that you have like the best season of your life, but you'll never get those stats again.
Hey, I just had my interview the other day with that guy that interviewed me about the Dallas Cowboys, and he asked me a question. He said, "Is Diggs the best cornerback on your team?" And I honestly said no. I think Anthony Brown is. If you go off the Pro Football Focus grades, Anthony Brown's grades higher.
Yeah.
Diggs actually has given up more receiving yards than any other quarterback in the freaking league right now.
I just think Diggs happens to be in the
not
right
shut down
spot
corner
at the right time where he's having just that great season.
He's got great hands. He's
He
tall,
does.
and
He's got great hops.
He is a good corner. I think he's gonna get better.
Yeah.
It's only his second year, but I think he's gonna become a shutdown corner.
Yeah.
But he's not right now.
I wonder, especially being his brother Stephon Diggs, receiver for the Bills, I wonder how much of an influence that had growing up.
Oh,
Could
that-
you imagine
well,
going
they
they train all the time together.
Yeah, well, they actually have a great
Yeah, he
story.
could-
I'm pretty sure Stephon Diggs was like a father to him actually
Mm-hmm.
growing up. But they train on the off season together. You have one of the top 5 wide receiver.
Yeah.
Why not go train with him every
Yeah.
off season? Throw me 5 balls, see if I can block at least 2 of them.
And the thing is he has great hands, and that's what's huge. He's got great closing speed. He's not a good cover corner, but he has got great closing speed.
I agree.
And he has blown several routes.
I agree.
But
I agree with you too. I think Dallas on paper is a great team. I think Dallas could be the number 1 team in the NFC. I just think they need to put together, like you said. I think that they're still putting up points. I think that it's just taking them a while to put up points, if that makes sense. I don't know if it's the play call with Kellen Moore or if Dak is scared to throw, like you said. It doesn't look, to me personally, it doesn't look like Dallas in the first half. Like Dallas in the first half, you were seeing 30-yard plays. Dak was throwing the ball. He was letting it sling, and you don't see that a lot right now.
Believe me, the TV hears me because I yell at it every freaking Sunday.
Yeah.
And the problem is, too, is if you look at Dak used to be one of the fastest quarterbacks as far as getting the ball out. Since he's come back from his calf injury, and I don't know if he's overthinking routes or what. And another stat is, too, is they're not blitzing Dallas as much anymore. They're daring us to run the ball, and with that line, we can't right now. If you noticed, and Mike McCarthy mentioned this in one of the press conferences, they're dropping back in coverage, so Dak is going to have to make decisions at throwing the tight windows, which he really never has been good at that. Dak is better. His stats are better when he's blitzed. And for some reason, he's putting too much thought into it. I mean, and just overall, I think we're having trouble. I mean, we're one of the worst teams right now in the red zone. On the road. At home, we're over 70% scoring in the red zone. On the road, we're like 25%, which is horrible.
That makes
because
sense.
In the NFL, 20% of your points are outside the red zone. 75% of your points come inside the red zone, and we're not doing it. Come playoffs, if you're kicking field goals against teams like Green Bay, Tampa Bay, you're not gonna win.
I agree. Totally agree.
I don't know.
Well, I guess that means Vikings, right?
Well, let's hear it, Aaron.
After all
Let's hear
this.
it.
Hey, Kirk Cousins is the third best quarterback for a TD interception ratio in the
That's
NFL.
great.
Yes, give me some stats on him to kind of get me juiced up for this weekend.
Well,
Do you have?
I have.
There's another one too, I think.
The best TD interception ratio right now is Rodgers, of course. I mean, Rodgers, let's face it, Rodgers is going for a second MVP. I mean, after Brady's outcome on last week, I think Rodgers has it sealed up, and Vegas agrees with that. Second is Cousins. Cousins has, I think he has, 29 touchdowns now and 5 interceptions, or 28 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Then you have Wentz. Wentz is the shocker because everyone wrote Wentz off. I mean, this guy has 23 touchdowns and 5 picks.
I think he only threw 5 passes last week. They gave the ball to Jonathan Taylor over 26 times. Yeah.
Both him and Cousins had something in common last week. That's
crazy.
Sure.
But one of the stats about Wentz is that they're 0-5 when Wentz throws 35-plus passes a game. They're 0-5.
I think when you have a playmaker like Jonathan Taylor, I think you feed him as much as you can, and only have Wentz throw. It's almost like I reference this all the time. It's like Tannehill and Henry. When Henry's healthy, you feed him, and then Tannehill throws a couple passes, scores a touchdown here and there. You get the job done.
Cousins, don't get me wrong, he's played lights out this year, and I think this game against the Bears, I watched most of it. It came down to play calling. They gave the last quarter or the last 3 or 4 possessions, we basically ran the ball all straight times outside of a couple penalties that backed us up, where he, I think, threw it once out of 12 possessions on the last 3 drives. One time he threw it. So they gave no respect to the Bears offense, which was kind of ironic because they got in field position a lot of the times, moving the ball on our defense, just turned it over. So it's not like our defense played lights out.
I did see that interception that Kirk Cousins threw where it looked like he just threw the ball up, and I don't know if a receiver ran the wrong route or what, but there was nobody in that area.
Yeah. Oh, Kris, he threw like a duck, just like he
looked like he punted
back,
the ball. Looked like he punted the ball.
Yeah, the way he arched his back to throw the ball, it just went like whoop, whoop, but nobody was there except for a safety.
Yeah,
it
it's as if he just threw the ball but said it's better than a punt. Let's just throw it all the way up there. But hey, Vikings won 17-9. Wasn't a nail biter the past couple games. You got to sleep a little bit. There was 2 Monday night games that night actually. That was pretty interesting. And a Tuesday night, 2 Tuesday night games.
And we have a Thursday night game tonight, tomorrow.
Now how about this? Not to get off topic with you guys real quick, but I saw that Darius Slay on the Eagles. He sent out a couple tweets and Fletcher Cox was agreeing with him how he was like, this is stupid. We got to play on Tuesday. That means there's no day off this week. And people are like, man, it must really suck getting paid millions of dollars to go play football and not have a day off. And I was like, it made me think about this. I'm like, man, don't get me wrong. I know your body is completely ruined the day after football game, right? I know you put a lot of work into that. I know you do a lot of training, do a lot of lifting, do a lot of plays, blah, 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 blah. Bro, you're getting paid millions of dollars. You get a whole off season. You know what I mean? There are American workers in this country that work Monday through Saturday, sometimes Monday through Sunday, 9-hour days, 10-hour days that don't get paid millions of dollars. They're getting paid $19, $20, $21, $22 an hour, whatever it is. Like, bro, like, all I'm saying, if I was go ahead.
The ones not getting paid a lot aren't saying much.
Yeah, you know what
which
I
is kinda
mean?
funny.
Like, at that stuff, I'd love to have someone on the podcast and let me hear their. I want to hear what they do in their days, so I can get a clear idea. So I can put my shoes. Let me be in their shoes for a second.
Look, I'm kind of torn on it because they are paid a lot, but you know what? That's their profession. But my thing is I've never played football like that, so I can only imagine, especially on the offensive, defensive line, going into a car wreck every snap,
every week.
a running back getting hammered every freaking play, quarterbacks, receive. I think the only ones that can't complain are the ones that are on the bench.
Yeah.
You know? I can see it, and you know what? Maybe the NFL should have had like 3 games Monday night. These teams that had to play like, yesterday and I wouldn't say Monday, but yesterday's games especially. Maybe they play like 3 games Monday night next week. Give them guys a chance to rest a little bit.
Could be good for the Saints, so the Eagles might lose now. Thanks to TikTok, though, I have gotten a little insight where like
the Eagles play the Giants.
Well, you'll have these NFL players, their wives will make TikTok accounts. And like I saw the lady, she's married to the Pittsburgh linebacker. I forget what his name is. It starts with an S. And it's like, this is what he does on game day, and this is what he does the day after, and he looks like he could barely move off the couch. Because as a linebacker, you're constantly running.
Wow.
You're constantly running to offensive linemen, tackling defensive players, tackling running backs, so I meant to say. So I get that, right? But at the same time, man, like, making millions. If I was making millions of dollars, I'm not complaining.
I know.
Don't get me wrong, I'd want a day off because I'm a little lazy.
I would just be in the ice bath right away, after the game, sit in that tank of ice.
Just know you got to put harder work in this week. You got a game coming up quicker. You got to work hard.
Well, it's like the inevitable. Why, no matter what, you're still gonna have to play that game. So, regardless of COVID outbreaks and anything like that, I think the NFL and the NFLPA, they've been proven they want to get these games and then not cancel anything.
Oh yeah, they're not going to test anyone basically anymore that's already vaccinated. I mean, that's one of the things they're doing. And I mean, you look at today on Twitter. I mean, every tweet is like, team after team after team after team is getting hit with this COVID. I mean, I think Cole Beasley's out now. There's a bunch of players that are out. And
I saw a crazy stat today. Not to get into like vaccines or anything. So I'm not against that. I'm not throwing it. I saw a crazy stat where it was like I'm probably gonna botch the stats here. The NFL is 99% vaccinated. NBA was like 98. NHL was 97. And there's like a 99% outbreak right now.
Oh yeah, the NHL shut down.
And it's like, what is that showing us? Like how, like, is it just like it's showing us like do we really know what's going on with these COVID, like the different variants and stuff? It's crazy.
I think hockey is 99%. I think there's only one player that is not vaccinated. That Patuzzi guy, whatever his name is, he's the only one that's not vaccinated in hockey.
Crazy.
And they're having an outbreak. And Canada is to the point where they basically they stopped fans from coming to the games.
I saw that.
I mean, they shut it down.
Yep.
And now they're worried about players coming from the United States into Canada, so they're ready to just say screw it, the season's done.
I think a big factor though is, when you get into winter months, especially I feel personally like the NFL, I feel like sports got a little too comfy. Right, like it wasn't strict anymore, right? And you get to the winter where like typically a lot of sickness happens. And I think now they're being more strict, like, hey, you're going to stay in the hotel. There's no more going out. There's no more going in public. I think they were a little lenient with it, but that's crazy, man.
I don't know about you, Ace, but I think this is never going away.
Yeah, it could be like the modern flu, I guess, as some people say, maybe just with worse symptoms, I guess. But yeah, I agree. And another thing too is just think how many kids are going back to school.
Yep.
Like during this time, the fall time, the weather's crappy anyways. So these athletes have kids, parents, wives, family, whatever. And so I'm sure, unfortunately, a lot of it, like for instance, Tyreek Hill, I think, or some of the players, now that they're kind of testing sporadically and they're not testing the ones that are asymptomatic, I think he was one that actually like came to and said, hey, I'm not feeling the best.
Yeah.
And it was proven he ended up having it. So it's like, it's weird to see players come forward, but you also kind of respect it too, especially 100%. If they,
What's the new one called? The Omni variant or Omni?
Yeah,
I have no clue.
So that the only bright side about this is this new Omni one, right? It's like 110% more transmittable, right? But it's more of a cold. This one
Yeah,
isn't as
headaches.
deadly as the other ones. It's just your nose and your throat. It doesn't affect the lungs. And I think that's what you're seeing a lot of the NFL players and the athletes in this world get hit with, because a lot of them are tweeting out, they're fine the next day, next 2 days.
But what does the next one bring?
You know what I mean?
What does the next one bring? I mean,
well, does
you
it get
breathe,
lighter?
You die.
Does it get lighter after this? Like, did we have the worst one? Then it gets lighter and lighter. Hopefully, like who knows? Who knows?
What is crazy is how this thing keeps changing.
I think it's just going to be
mutating into something.
I think this is the new cold. This is the new flu. I think that this, like you said, I don't think this is ever going to go away.
I just hope it doesn't go to the point where like your eyeballs start bleeding and fall out of your head, or your brain explodes. It's. My thing is like, what plague do we know of that they've actually gotten rid of and combated it and got rid of it altogether? I mean, polio is still around. I mean, in some countries. I mean, maybe smallpox. I mean, I don't know. I mean, what? This is never going to be conquered.
Hey man, I'm not guaranteed tomorrow, so I'm just going to live my days.
I mean, look at the flu. I mean, there's so many different varieties of the flu now, and you have to get the flu shot every year, and you better have gotten yours. But
not yet.
But I mean,
I don't think I got mine either.
The owner of my company at work. I mean, I don't know if I should be saying this or not, but he got it. And he's vaccinated, and I was just around him on Monday.
Yeah, well, it doesn't stop. The vaccination just doesn't stop you from getting it. It limits your side effects.
He's having symptoms that are like the Delta variant one. He's like having symptoms like that.
That one's bad. Yeah,
and Monday was bad. Yesterday was worse, and today was even worse. And it's scary because you don't want to see anything happen bad to anybody.
No.
But it's unfortunate. It's not going away anytime soon. I mean, look at Texas A&M. They pulled out of the Gator Bowl, and they're not going to the Gator Bowl now. And
if I was in the playoffs, I'd be like, yeah, we're done.
I mean, basketball. The Sixers had a couple games canceled. I mean, it's unfortunately, I think
as long as fans stay in the crowd, I don't want to go back to no fans, man. That was terrible.
Yeah, but that and not to get political.
That was so weird.
Not to get political, but I seriously, honestly believe in my heart of heart that after Christmas, I think they're going to try to shut us down again. You look at some states, they're making it where you can't even go into restaurants again without proving you're vaccinated. You can't go into gyms, bars, the whole 9 yards, grocery shopping. I mean, they're taking away everyone's rights slowly, and I think this
Boston.
is never going away.
Yeah, they just did it.
I think Boston, too, except for athletes, everyone else has to have, I don't remember, the card or something.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy that they're pushing this because New York was the first one to do this and nothing happened with it, right? New York has a huge spike right now. So clearly, like, it's like, I just don't think you can outrun this. You know what I mean? I think
we could become a conspiracy show if you want.
Oh, I love that.
Man.
Oh, I love that. How this is all man-made and they keep sending new ones out and changing it.
Correct. We
Yes.
could start from there, the lab leak theory. Let's just start from there.
Yeah. You know what I think it is? I think those damn bugs that came over, those freaking
I know you're talking about.
What are those Chinese bugs that came
killing
over?
The trees and stuff.
I think they brought the COVID.
the lantern flies.
They brought the COVID.
Yeah.
Could you notice those damn bugs are gone now? They're gone.
Yo, I see him. I see a couple. I see a couple in one spot in Allentown during the summertime. I never see those bugs anymore.
Look, I thought I saw one that had a little freaking camera on it, but I couldn't catch it. Anyway, back to sports. Here's a question for both you guys, and we talked about this earlier. What would be a successful season for our remaining teams?
Oh, it's easy for me. Since week 5, ever since Jameis went down, one of my stars went down, it's easy to say we could have just lost every game.
Mm-hmm.
We're 7-7. I told you guys last week that I predicted the season to finish 9-8, but we beat Tampa. I think if we finish 9-8 or 10-7 with how many starters that we truly have lost this year, that's a win in my books. Even if we don't make playoffs, the fact that we were able to overcome just everything that was thrown at us and we didn't stop fighting, that's a win for me. I don't know about you guys, but I would love to go to playoffs. I'd love to go to playoffs and beat Dallas and go to the Super Bowl. But clearly, in my heart, I know that's not going to happen because we're missing so much. And Taysom Hill is trying to throw a football with a middle finger that he cannot bend. So hey, he did. I'll give him credit though. He slung that ball the first half against the Bucs. He looked good, and then they shut him down though. But
what about you, Ace? What would a Minnesota Vikings outcome look like to you?
Yeah, I'm very curious. I'm very curious about yours.
I have a different viewpoint than Ty in terms of because we on both sides of the ball we had talent going into the year. So I had pretty high expectations anyways out of the Vikings. But to see, I think overall, the mistakes on defense, the mistakes on offense, the holding, like just stupid penalties, the game management decisions, the first year offensive coordinator, I think Kubiak, all of that just made for such a just a up and down team all year that didn't play well. And to me, that's disappointing when you have a veteran laden team, regardless of we had some new guys on the defensive line, but most of the guys there have been around for 5+ years. So I don't think this has been successful, I guess, is what I'm getting at, sadly. I'd love to see us make the playoffs. If we went 9-8, 10-7, similar to what Ty said, and won a first-round matchup, I think that 100% would be successful and happy with that.
Would you be happy if you finished 10-7? And
yeah.
10
I'd be happy if they finished 10-7 because to win 3 straight going against number 1 the Rams this week, then the Packers, and then the Bears. I think the end of season.
You're telling me there's a
crazy.
really good chance that the Saints win out. Minnesota might lose 1 or 2.
Yeah, I forgot we played the Packers
Gosh,
again.
The only thing that scares me is the Dolphins because they've won 6 in a row, but we were playing them at home, and Tua's never played in the Dome before besides college, so got a good chance.
Now, before I give you mine, let me ask you both this question. I mean, especially Minnesota. I mean, obviously the Saints have injuries with quarterback and stuff like that, but Minnesota, you guys were so close to being on the other spectrum of having a winning season now. I mean, easily 3 or 4 of those games that you've lost could be wins. What do you want to see change that could put you over the hump for next year, besides firing your coach? I mean, because you guys are close. What are you missing to give you that edge for next year?
I mean, it could be coaching for him if you want to say coaching.
Guard.
You might have the right players.
I mean, it could be an offensive coordinator.
Perhaps. I guess the game plan obviously is run the ball and play action and that kind of thing. But yeah, I guess talent wise, I'd definitely say a guard or a tackle for sure. That's a good point. The Darius is a rookie, so Darius, our left tackle, is a rookie. We'll see how he pans out. But he got bullied by Robert Quinn in the Bears game a handful of times, and then of course when that happens he makes a holding penalty or something else.
Okay, but you give him a year in the weight room and a year of off season, he'll come back and be a different player.
Hopefully. The right guard, left guard, I don't know, we need a center too. I think it is a lot of it our offensive line, sadly, now that I think about it more, because they've switched centers around. We had this Bradbury dude, they took him out at one point, put in another guy, then they I don't even think they're solidified there either.
Ty, what do you think about the Saints?
I think everybody would say quarterback, but I don't necessarily think quarterback, and I'm shocked I'm saying this, but I just think, say you draft a quarterback and you don't get receiver help, I think you're going to get the same results. I think you keep Callaway, you got Michael Thomas coming back, right? You go out in the draft or free agent, you get 1 or 2. If you can get at least 1 more good receiver to go with Michael Thomas and then get someone who's decent who can fill in the slot, I think if it's Taysom Hill, if it's Russell Wilson, if it's whoever they get, Jameis comes back, I think he'll be fine. I mean, you look at Jameis, we were 5-2 with 3rd string and 4th string wide receivers, barely putting up 200 yards a game. What does that tell you if there's Michael Thomas out there, healthy tight end, maybe number 2 and number 3 wide receiver? That's a dangerous team with that defense. So my main focus is I want to see who they go and get after wide receiver. I want to see how great Michael Thomas comes back, because I think when Michael Thomas is healthy, I truly believe he's top 10 wide receiver in this league.
How do you get, with their salary cap, like you brought up before, Kris, and we talked about, how do you get a big name quarterback? Because the defense is getting, they're at a good peak now, but there's not many years left, I feel like.
Ty and I talked about this downstairs. I mean, both Dallas and the Saints are in trouble with salary cap next year. I think Dallas is $16 million over the cap right now. But the thing is signing bonuses. You push you take deals and you change the money and push the years out. You give pay cuts and then push money out. Although that could form dead cap money later on down the road. It's gonna. I mean, we did it with Romo for how many years? I mean, we just kept pushing money, and then it screws you later on down the road. So you don't really want to do that too often.
And you look at the Saints situation, and the Saints extend Taysom to this ridiculous contract that helps them out, right? They played it smart. Yeah. We signed already our offensive linemen that are young and our defensive cornerbacks, Marshawn Lattimore, some of our linebackers. We've extended them already. So we're in cap hell right now. Don't get me wrong, but they already did a lot of breakdowns where if you do a couple of these young guys who just sign big contracts, you turn that into sign-in bonus, like he said. You do cut a couple of these veterans, you're under the cap like it's nothing. Mickey Loomis, our GM, I mean, look how bad this offseason was for the Saints. We were in cap hell, and he was able to get us down. We were able to sign all these people, give extensions out. So I have faith that he'll do it again.
Well, the thing with Dallas is, and I saw a breakdown, you changed DeMarcus Lawrence's contract, you changed Zeke's, you changed Dax a little bit, and there was somebody else, and then next thing you know, Zach Martin. Next thing you know, you're like $15 million in the positive. So it's doable.
It's when people don't agree. That's when you're in trouble. Yeah. If somebody doesn't want to sign a bonus or cut a little bit of money. What about you, though? You said what's a happy season for you? What is things you want your team to focus on?
Realistically, I'd like to see my team go to the second round of the playoffs. I mean, we haven't seen that in forever and a day. But with this team here, the way it's built and what the future has for this team as far as losing players and coaches, I think this is our only shot. So I got to say NFC Championship or bust, to be honest with you.
I agree.
I would love to see Dallas get to the NFC Championship on the verge of going to the Super Bowl. Because I think if you lose Dan Quinn and you lose all the one-year players that we have, I think we go back to a not mediocre team, but we're going to be a team that's going to be going in a direction that could be the wrong way again. So
I'd wear a Dallas jersey and cheer the Dallas Cowboys on if my Saints get eliminated.
Yeah. I mean, I personally would love to see it. I really would.
Week 17.
And I said this from the start of the season. I feel like it's the 90s, and I just think if our offense starts clicking again, look out. And like I said, I'm not just saying that. I just think that Green Bay has its issues. I mean, you take away Devontae Adams, what else do they really have? Nothing that scares you if you think about it.
Yeah.
My biggest fear was going to be Arizona. And don't count the Rams. I mean, the Rams have a great team. I mean, Stafford is the fastest kid to 50,000 yards passing.
Cooper Kupp is just amazing this year.
Cooper Kupp, we talked about that before we came on. His stats are just mind-blowing. But
all I'm saying,
playing it, and look, and I heard this today. This is my scenario. Dallas Cowboys go in and play the team that has killed us in the playoffs for how many years? The Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field with Aaron Rodgers saying that this is the final run in Green Bay, and we go in there and beat their asses in Lambeau Field, and we make the catch to go to the Super Bowl. That would be my storybook ending right there.
Absolutely.
That'd be great. All I'm saying is if Dallas plays the Saints somehow in the first round of the playoffs, all I'm saying is I am packing my bags and I'm not watching the game here. There's too many Cowboys fans here. I will get outnumbered. I won't be able to clap. I'll be hearing all this chatter. I'm going somewhere else.
Yeah, it would be a horrible day in this house. It really would be.
But hey,
if it goes the other way.
The Saints would win, though, you bet your bottom dollar I'd come in here flying my Saints flag.
Yeah.
Saints, Cowboys first round, and then in the championship, let's say, one of those teams would be the Packers. They face the Packers for the champ.
Could you imagine somehow?
Especially Cowboys.
Could you imagine somehow the Saints and Dallas played to go to the Super Bowl?
It'd be crazy.
Could you imagine that? I would lose my mind.
I don't see. I would
lose my mind.
The thing about the playoffs that sucks is look what happens to Baltimore every year to go there. Teams just play different in the playoffs. You're playing the best of the best.
Yeah.
The cream rises to the top. I mean, Aaron Rodgers only has one Super Bowl.
Okay, another reason I think Coach of the Year, probably Matt LaFleur, should be up there. Speaking of that, they got the new D coordinator, but their defense as well, and they signed some players.
I got to step away for a second.
I don't know if that. Okay, yeah, I don't know if that necessarily leads to the Coach of the Year, but at the end of the day, they're getting wins. So who knows? Kind of a weird.
Yep.
Sorry about that, guys. I just got a message that a family member passed away.
Oh, wow.
Aw.
You want to end the podcast?
Sorry to hear that.
No.
Sure?
We'll keep going.
We're at 50 minutes. We can end it right
we'll
now.
keep going. We'll keep going.
All right.
That's crazy.
Last thing I want to talk about, me personally, is I just think my underdog team of the year right now that no one really is talking about is the Dolphins. I know they haven't had the hardest schedule, but when you have a team that's 1-7, they go out win 6 in a row, and now they're 7-7 fighting for a wild card spot. I just think that team deserves some recognition, especially when Tua had to deal with all these rumors about how the Dolphins want Deshaun Watson. They don't know if Tua is their franchise quarterback. We might trade him. We might do this. We might do that. Blah, 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 blah. But now they're 7-7. Tua's having a great year. The team's playing great. Defense is playing great. They're going to lose in New Orleans, though, sadly, and that streak's going to end.
We forgot about them, by the way, as Coach of the Year candidate.
Oh, I mentioned them.
The Dolphins. Oh, okay, good. And I wasn't paying attention, clearly. I agree with you. I don't know how a quarterback could play with that much outside pressure coming into him, especially when the owner's, like, rumored to have tried to get Deshaun Watson kind of at the last minute, but they can't settle on some of those cases. It's weird.
Yep.
Yeah. But
Aaron,
they're
you want
a talented team.
You want to hit us with your quick, what is it, quick six? What do we say?
Oh,
Well, we got to do our power rankings then, too.
do the power rankings quick so I can pull up the
Power rankings. What do you guys
Schedule.
want to talk about the power rankings?
This is who I have as my top 5. And
All together, talk about the power rankings total. Okay, let's hear it.
I have Green Bay as number 1. They're 11-3. Kansas City, number 2, 7 straight wins. I have Dallas, number 3 at 10-4. The Rams, I actually have them in there as 10-4. And my 5th team, it could be a multiple of teams. It could be the Colts. I mean, it could be New England. It could be Tampa Bay. It could be Arizona. It could go a bunch of different ways. Just fill the blank.
My top 5 teams, I think number 1 obviously has to be the New Orleans Saints. I just think that they've been playing so well lately. No, I'm just kidding. I agree. Number 1 in my book is, I think, Green Bay Packers at this point. Number 2 would be Kansas City. I think we talked so much smack on Kansas City, and now they're just killing it. I don't know what that noise was, but oh gosh, let me think here. Gosh, there's a lot of good talent, right? Because New England Patriots, even though they did just lose, oh man. So I got Green Bay Packers, Kansas City, Dallas Cowboys, the Rams, and the Bucs. That'd be my top 5.
Dang it. My first 3 are the same as his.
It's okay.
Go
It's okay. You don't gotta
same
change
way.
it. You don't gotta change it.
No, yeah, and then 4 and 5. I still like the Bucs ahead of the Rams, but I'm gonna also slide in the Colts.
Ooh.
I think if, like, the Colts, yeah, Wentz got injured, but he's all for the Eagles, but he's also been proven that he could at least lead a good team and kind of manage the game well. So if you can still continue to get that out of them, the Colts are dangerous. They have one of the best offensive lines anyway.
One of the great defense
So-
too right now currently.
And
All right,
yeah, I
Ace.
think that was 5, right?
Yep. Take us away, Ace. and then
Wait, hold on.
Are you sure?
hold
Are you
on.
sure?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine.
what?
Right now, Super Bowl odds right now, as far as Vegas goes to win the Super Bowl,
Saints in there? Saints in there?
Kansas
yes.
City is number 1 at plus 475. The Packers are plus 500. The Bucs are plus 550. The New England is plus 900. The Rams are plus 1,000. And the Dallas Cowboys round out the top 6 at plus 1,100.
Remember that I picked the Patriots to
I'd
win the
take the
Super Bowl.
Cowboys.
I know.
I picked-
Cowboys in
You think the
1,100.
Patriots?
Remember I said I didn't pick them to win. I just picked them to go to the Super Bowl if they beat the Bills. Was that 2 weeks ago in that snowy cold match?
And real quick, we'll go around the NFL just real quick, and then Ace will jump into you as far as your quick 6.
Daniel Jones out the rest of the year with an neck strain.
Yeah.
Chris Godwin out all year.
COVID has decimated the NFL. Injuries are decimating the NFL. Peyton Manning is looking to buy into ownership of the Denver Broncos and leaving ESPN. High school players are now benefiting from the NIL. Kids are getting 4 figures as sophomores in high school, which is absolutely crazy. We talked about Cooper Kupp. He had 9 receptions for 136 yards, 2 touchdowns last week. He is, right now, no one's even talking about this guy. He hasn't dropped a pass of 20-plus yards since week 5 of 2016 or 2015. That year might be a little bit off.
Wow.
Right now, there are 4 players in the NFL that have 90-plus receiving yards in 6 consecutive games. Devontae Adams, Johnson, Tyler Lockett, and Deebo Samuels. No one's talking about Cooper Kupp, but he has done it now for 13 straight weeks.
Wow.
Woot, woot.
And that is your NFL around the news.
Yeah.
All right, quick 6, quick. I think the Jets beat the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are tanking, whether they admit it with the firing of Urban Meyer or not.
Good call. I like that one.
I can't pick the Rams. I was teeter-tottering back and forth to the Rams Vikings. I don't even want to touch that game.
Oh man.
I think the Bengals beat the Ravens. I think the Ravens, yes, Jackson's back, but I don't. Bengals offense and defensive lines are both good, and I still think it starts from there. Oh gosh, Colts. Colts is another one. I think they stay hot and beat Cardinals.
So
they
do I.
beat Arizona at Arizona.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great because then they fall to the wild card.
Oh, even better. You're right, because that would bump the Cowboys up. Who are the Cowboys? Packers. I'm gonna pick them again.
Who are they playing?
The Packers play the Browns.
They play the Browns, and then I think they play the Colts in Minnesota. I don't know which order.
Don't shoot out the Browns though, because Baker's coming back, and it's like a must-win now at this point.
I don't know if Baker's coming back this week.
Okay.
I mean, would he be out that long with COVID?
Oh yeah, I don't think he's starting this week.
Really? That'd be interesting.
I don't think Baker's back yet.
Wow.
Okay. Broncos at Raiders. I like the Broncos, even with
Teddy out.
Drew Lock.
I like Drew Lock.
Raiders are just up and down.
Yeah, they are. They really are.
And you know what? Hey, Ty, I'll help you out. Dolphins, Saints continue to win.
Yes, they do, Aaron.
That's a tough
yes,
matchup
they
for
do.
the Dolphins.
Just think, next week we hit the heart of the bowl season.
I can't
we
wait.
didn't even talk about. Yeah,
that's coming up though. That'll be next week's podcast. But before we go and we say Merry Christmas to each other, I want to play the sounds of the Dallas Cowboys and a true leader of a team.
And right now we gotta go get 10 to win number 10. Win number 10. Do everything it takes to capture this win today. Them boys, man. It's about us.
It's about us.
Every day relentless. All day long. Start fast and finish strong. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3, team. Okay, forward. Yes, sir.
Start fast and finish strong.
Was that Drew Brees?
No.
It sounded
Drew
like
Brees does something.
Ty, find some clips. Who that?
Should I play the Minnesota Miracle again?
No,
would
let's not.
Would that lighten the mood?
We already talked how that led to nothing. It's okay.
But unfortunately, guys, I have to go take care of some family business. But I'd like to wish Aaron you a very Merry Christmas.
Happy Christmas, Ace.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
We'll be seeing you after Christmas, so I hope Santa brings you everything that you need. Like that new Cowboys T-shirt that you have to wear yet.
Or the hat, one of the two.
Man, seriously, I wish everyone out there that listens a very Merry Christmas. We appreciate you guys listening to us, and we hope you continue to listen to us.
Another year down of the podcast.
The podcast is getting better as we go.
It's like, is that 3 years now? 4 years?
I don't know.
It's going fast.
I don't know.
It's at least
That's
3.
incredible.
I think it's at least 3.
But we'll be kicking off that ticker on the bottom that says everything goes with A and K.
Oh!
I'm gonna get that to load. Yeah, I put some homework on my ass. I like it.
This podcast is not separating when I go to. I don't know why you guys. I can't wait because I'm gonna have my own. You know what I'm gonna do, guys? My background's gonna be the beautiful skies, and you guys are gonna be up there in the cold Minnesota snow, shivering, and you're gonna be like, "Wow, Ty, that looks beautiful." Because all I gotta do is buy a little mixer. I can still edit all the podcast stuff. Guys, come on. I still will have the Zoom account. Let's go.
Look, we'll be listening.
TAK, baby.
We'll be listening. We'll be saying, "Hey, Ty, are you there? Ty, are you there?"
Waves are crashing up against the.
Well, we hope everyone has a great Christmas. Happy
Seriously.
Hanukkah. I don't know if that ended or not. Have a great New Year's. Well, we'll do another one before New Year's probably.
Yes, definitely.
That kicks off this episode. Hope you guys enjoy it, and we will see you guys next time.